lot of questions, whoever we run into. Could even be a merc ship. So what the hell do we tell them about you?
Tell him Riddick's dead.
I know a man. He won't be easily found.
It's not my fight. I told one man where I might go.
There's not enough time in 2 hours to explain the universe. So we have to add something that helps to explain or, further uncover this universe.
I wrote this story only because I wanted to make sure that the period between Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick was documented, and to make those multiple worlds feel like they belonged in the same universe.
Critical systems failure in 3 seconds.
The whole point was you have Pitch Black and you have Chronicles of Riddick. They're very different in a lot of ways. So for me, this was the thing that helps explain that.
You mentioned her.
That's what that bridge is. It shows how they lost track of each other, how they separated 5 years ago.
She never forgave you for leaving just when she needed you most.
A lot of questions, whoever we run into. Could even be a merc ship.
It only made sense to, start from where they departed, from Pitch Black. I think it was important to kind of show that these 3 characters will be important in the next film.
Riddick and Jack and Imam have been through hell in the first movie, and it's just like the car breaking down on the freeway on the way home from a funeral.
Engine and hull failure imminent under current parameters.
David had kind of had this idea of, I want to run to a merc ship. It's this strange kind of mercenary vessel called the Kubla Khan, captained by a very imperial woman by the name of Antonia Chillingsworth.
Yes.
Mercs have a huge backstory. They're deep as far as their ships and their livelihood, and because you see what Chillingsworth is, her little operation's a big operation. We saw an opportunity in introducing Toombs. Again, we'll introduce Toombs in Chronicles in his own way.
Miss me.
We had to design a whole spaceship full of spacefaring mercenaries and their whole culture within this spaceship, which is like a museum in space. It's like a palace, Chillingsworth's private art sanctuary.
How?
It's a very bizarre and baroque and multi-layered environment.
How will I ever have you mounted to do it justice?
She's kind of a death freak. She's kind of into art in all forms, and she considers killing an art.
I need to see it, Riddick. I need to see it with my own eyes.
I like the fact that she's an older woman. I like this strange energy between her and Riddick.
I get out of there alive, you'll see it again.
The way Peter Chung explained on how he's going to make the shrill fight work, and the dynamics with the lighting and just Riddick's dexterity and where the kid's going to be in Imam, that was exciting.
It's a very long and slow process. First, you have to design your characters, and you have to design your environment. And so we spent several weeks in LA at Sunwoo. While the storyboards are being done, we record the dialogue and edit the dialogue to an animatic, which is basically the storyboards scanned into a computer and then edited together. We then decide on things like camera movement and the timings of shots and the order of shots. It gives you a template which gives you kind of a rough version of the final film. We then go into layout, which is taking the storyboard panels and drawing them in the full final artwork size. And that gets distributed to the animators and the CG people, because a lot of the backgrounds are computer generated. All the characters, the human characters, are being drawn by hand, except for some of them, like the Brax handlers, whose faces are covered in masks. We're doing those in 3D. The spaceships and the backgrounds are being generated by computer. The process of animation is such that as you're animating it, ideas for movement will occur to you. It's a process of continuing to refine the movement until it looks right. It's not like you're painting a picture and then you can just put it on the wall. It's like you have to shoot it and then you have to play it back at the speed where it's going to be shown on the film. Based on that, you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to fix it. One of the ways of getting around that difficulty is to divide the movement up into small shots. This is one of the key differences between traditional American style, if you want to call it, animation, and say Japanese animation, which is much more cinematic. It's very different directing through animators, because animators are, in a sense, they're like actors, but we use a different kind of language to describe, character and characterization. It's a very complex process of logistically managing all of these different elements, because a lot of the final scenes that you see will be comprised of different animated elements which are being done by different people in different locations, and characters need to match from the way they're drawn in one scene to another, and a lot of the time is spent trying to keep the look consistent. What makes the whole thing rewarding to me in the end is that through the collaboration process, you get a lot of ideas and performances of the animated characters that you wouldn't come up with on your own.
We made it.
I think the best part is you can do anything because it's animation. You don't have to worry about, well, how do I get Vin Diesel to the freaking roof, or safety, or any of that stuff. That all goes out the window.
All of these different elements help to inform and explain this world and explain where Riddick has been, because it's somewhat of a guessing game in the beginning of the movie.
If you get to see the animation, you'll see how it ultimately works, and you'll have a lot of fun with the opening of the movie.
Riddick.
It's another world, and it's visually unbelievably appealing. It'll be exciting.
Riddick. We ain't done, boy. Not by a long shot.